Hello
Hi.
and welcome to Andy
and Monty,
the podcast.
We are back, episode 8. We are
Episode 8.
so excited to be here. It took a second, we've been having a lot of stuff going on the last couple weeks. I feel like our lives have been very busy lately.
Busy.
There's a lot going on. A lot of things in development. A lot of brews that we are brewing,
Brews that we are brewing.
Or imagine potions that we're brewing. You know what I mean? Little manifestations, if you will.
That's true. Doing the work.
Yeah, exactly.
Every day is just another step in the journey.
Oh, well, yes, of course. We're all just walking each other home, if you will.
Exactly.
Who said that?
Ram
I think
Das.
Ram Dass? Was it Ram Dass?
Mr. Ram Das.
Wow, 10 out of 10. I'll repeat that for the viewers. We are all just walking each other home. What a profound statement.
Beautiful.
Little incarnated spirits just guiding each other back to source over and over again.
Yeah. We start as energy, we end as energy. We just go back.
Beautiful.
Go back to where we came.
Absolutely beautiful.
Anyway.
So our consciousness is united, and thank you for coming to this podcast. No. In all seriousness, this is going to be a good episode.
Yes, it is.
For sure.
Indeed.
Yeah, I guess we just kind of wanted to talk about some of the things that we've been discussing lately, kind of some of the things that have been on our mind, just kind of share with you guys, because like we mentioned, the things that we're brewing, needs to be shared.
We're
the ideas, the knowledge.
I think it goes back to what I said in the beginning, that where every day is just another step towards the greater, end goal, the journey, whatever you're on, whatever you're trying to do or accomplish, or wherever you're trying to go, seriously, actually, in a plane.
In a plane?
Yeah, in a plane, on a boat.
Oh, you mean physically. Whether you're physically trying to go somewhere on a plane or a boat or other mode of transportation. Mm-hmm. Walk, perhaps.
Yes.
No matter what. Or metaphorically.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
As well.
Indeed.
Maybe both at the same time.
Maybe both. All of them. Let's involve every single one. You go from a train to a boat to a bike into a car.
I feel like we're maybe losing people.
No, it's so funny. I think this is the type of banter that I enjoy. That this is why we're friends.
Yeah, you're right. 100%.
Yeah, because if there's one thing that makes me really laugh about Muddy is that she'll come at you with some very well thought out joke that she came up with in 1 second, She can be very witty, quick.
I actually love that. I feel like I have the banter.
Yeah.
I have the banter. And sometimes true. I'm I know it naturally flows through me. And it's because I'm a Gemini. 100%.
Yeah.
That's our token astrology moment real quick. But Geminis are ruled by Mercury, which is the planet of communication. So I feel like, it's my Gemini sun mixed with my Leo rising. Being comfortable with being that kind of person, to just put yourself out there and make little jokes and stuff,
Yeah, I think that I'll be real. I think that I used to be like that, I think I used to be more more openly like that. And I'm more like that with people I'm comfortable around, pretty much only, But, I don't know,
You lost it or what?
I don't think I lost it. It's just that, like I said, I'm just really selective about who I'm like this with, Because it's I don't know.
I guess that's kind of my point, is why it's I feel like I understand that, not everyone's personality allows them to be so extroverted.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I've noticed. Because it's you have to just kind of, be willing to not really think about what other people are thinking.
Yeah.
Not really care, kind of detached from the moment.
Exactly. Just present them
and
something.
just be fully present.
Yeah, exactly.
And just, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I still do it. Don't get me wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where I think that I need to practice being more witty and putting a little bit more thought into my every interaction, because I think that's what it is because just good morning, I think it's just
wow.
It's easy to just.
How many of you can relate to that?
It's just easy
that
to
triggered
not.
Something in somebody.
I don't know. Yeah.
Hearing that.
It's just not as personal.
Yeah. No, you just don't have many deep interactions.
Yeah.
on a daily basis with people, or like very like casual conversations. It's just all very serious.
Serious, or yeah, and then also just maybe not in the moment. Like both of us are in a rush type vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
but yeah,
feel
no,
like
you are a good banterer. Is the point?
Thank you.
Yeah, and
Thank
you're a
you.
good and I enjoy talking with Marissa. All these years later, it's like we still somehow. We still got it in us that we get fired up over something.
Obviously, that's gonna be in here forever.
Yeah,
forever.
It's true. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like
I don't know people that. Well, I do, but I don't hang out with people that I've known my entire life. I only really hang out with people that I've met like later on in life. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that like 15 years, I think, of friendship, right? Like, are we going on that? Like 14? Yeah, 14 to 15 years of knowing each other.
Just you saying that, I'm like...
Yeah, 13
That's
or
wild
14
to think
years.
about.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That's a long time to like know someone, talk to someone. And I think, I don't know. That's what tripped me out about Sweden, off topic, but they were super, super tight with all the people they literally went to kindergarten with.
I've heard that. I've heard that about Europe.
Mm-hmm. They're very close still with people that they knew when they were tiny. They were 4 or 5, maybe even younger when they met that person, you know? And you and I feel like, 14 years isn't a lifetime.
When you think about
long.
it, I feel like the U.S. is such a larger like country that it's very common for people to move like from state to state and like move around because there's so much space. You know what I mean? It's like a whole European country is equivalent to like one state here. That makes way more sense, you know? That it would be more inclusive as far as like the people that you're meeting, people that you're interacting with, and even the people that you can have access to. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I don't know. Obviously, I feel like a lot of the people I know, I don't live in the same city as them. You know? But I feel like that's very common here. I just wonder if that has something to do with it. The fact that it's like, how do you even keep in contact with all these people? They must all stay there. Mm-hmm. You know? It's just like a smaller community. So there's not like as much different people, like, you know, cycling
going in and out.
Yeah. But it is interesting.
Wow. We have
deep analysis.
Broken that down.
The culture. Yeah.
I wanted to bring up the Joe Dispenza, how I told you earlier.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that as well, actually.
The Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Right.
Just saying. He's a really good guy.
Yeah.
And he's and I love everything that he says, and I am down for it, and my dad is down for it, and I
feel like we need to give people context a little bit.
Yeah, no, but this is just to introduce just Joe Dispenza. Just give us a bio, Mari, because I know Mari can give a good bio.
Thank you.
That goes back to the witty and the banter.
Like, take it away.
Take it away.
He is a neuroscientist. He studies the brain, and he basically started like doing research about different topics, specifically meditation and how it affects the brain. And essentially, he's just done a lot of research, years and like hundreds of studies. Hundreds of people like participating in these studies, and like huge, just different things that they've done where they observe people's brain waves and essentially how your brain literally shifts states through different forms of consciousness, right? So it's like depending on basically like your emotional state / connection with like the unified fields, your brain is going to exist in different frequencies, which is a lot, obviously. But the point of understanding that is when you are in certain states, your brain is more easily able to like create, essentially. So it's like you're more able to manifest things into your life and to like actually get what you want out of the field, right, of energy. And obviously this has been studied for a while now, I feel like, by different people. But it's just like this links also back to like what the government studies have shown. It's a very large conversation. But for those of you who do not know as well, I'm just going to throw this out there because I feel like this is important for people to know. There are CIA studies done
Go off.
about what is called the gateway process, okay? And they're called the gateway experiments. And these are public disclosed documents that you can find on the CIA website. And I'll probably link them below, to be honest, so you guys can click on them if you're watching on YouTube. But yeah, essentially they discuss this exact same science. How, you know, your body, it has a magnetic field, right? Your body has a magnetic field. The earth has a magnetic field. Everything has a magnetic field. The sun, you know, it's all electromagnetism. And like everything is interacting with each other. And your consciousness is the base of reality because it's all energy, right? It's like, you know, I feel like even just to begin to talk about these topics, you really have to kind of like realize, I guess, that like physical reality is not what's really controlling the physical reality, if that makes sense. Like, you have to realize that everything is connected and everything is constantly interacting with each other. But yes, so Dr. Joe Dispenza, like, he's done this research and he's basically confirmed, like I said, what was in these Gateway Project documents, which in the Gateway Project documents, they discussed how they have basically proven that through elevated consciousness and through reaching certain states of consciousness, again, like the same thing that Joe Dispenza discusses, you are able to manipulate reality. And you can do, you know, astral projection, have more enhanced psychic abilities, whatever, you know? And obviously also it's like you are able to be an active participant in creating what you are going to receive in the physical realm by tapping into that consciousness. And the gateway process tells you that you can get there two ways. They have the gateway process that gets you there, and you go through like 10 levels of like meditation, like going basically like training your mind to like get into this state through like sounds and also different things that they use. And then also the other way to get there is transcendental meditation, which is why anybody can get there pretty quickly by meditating, which is mainly what Joe Dispenza discusses.
Yeah, it's essentially. I was telling Marissa earlier that it's like my brother was showing me what he listens to when he goes to sleep, and it's like a preacher, and the guy goes off, and you know the things he was saying, it's all the truth about like the physical world, like it's all the truth about science, like everything that he's saying is backed up by these things, you know. And that's that made me laugh, because I was like, wow, like we are listening to the same things. It's just that we just different religions, you know, have different words for it and different explanations for these things.
I think that's a very interesting conversation, because it's true. It's like, you know, I feel like when you understand the science behind consciousness, you realize that spirituality is that science.
Yeah. Yep.
But spirituality, specifically religions, they give you that same knowledge and kind of try to connect you to that same source, but it's through all of these specific lenses.
Yes, that's
specific
exactly
deities.
Yes.
And it kind of just like, you know, makes it a little bit more limiting in some cases, because it's like you are not necessarily realizing, maybe except for like what Buddhism, that you are a god in your own right? Mm-hmm. Connected to source. Like you are a drop of water in the ocean, but you are also the whole ocean. You know? It's like realizing your connection to it. Because I think that that's a big thing. And like, you know, that I've noticed in religions and stuff, is that it's just like, there's a disconnection. You know? You're not necessarily like empowered to realize that you play a part in like creating your life, I guess.
I think that they do, but it's called prayer.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's the thing is that yes, prayer does work, because you are literally like relaxing your body, like connecting with God, connecting with source, connecting with it, and then literally asking or talking about, you know, the things that you need, or the solutions to your problems,
right?
And you're envisioning the hope, you're envisioning the good, instead of like laying in bed and just like worrying about something or stressing about something or whatever it may be.
Yeah, definitely.
So it is literally, you know, meditation, and in essence it's visualization, it's manifestation. It is these things. It's just that, you know, like how Marissa said earlier, like lenses, like whenever my
Yeah.
grandfather was talking to me about something, I always knew that he had his, like, you know, it was like his Catholic lenses over his spirituality. So
Right.
the way that everyone like refers to certain things, like whether or not you call it like a prophet or a specific deity or whatever you call these things, you know, in all of these different religions, it's all very similar. It's all the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, yes, of course, it's like it's all, you know, different versions of that same energy. And so, you know, through us having experienced that and kind of realized that, that's what led us really down the path that we are on now, which is like really connecting to those same energies, but kind of removing all those lenses and looking at it much more in a scientific way. Because I'm telling you, like, if you go and you read those gateway process documents, the science is insane. But then you go into the next part where it talks about how to do it, and it sounds like a spiritual document almost. I mean, you're literally meditating, you know? It's all of these things that are talked about as far as like mysticism is concerned or whatever. But
That's true.
I mean, at this point, it's scientifically confirmed, you know? So it's just like, it's very beautiful, I feel like, to be able to like empower yourself in your own consciousness and be able to like really reflect. I definitely feel like, even just since I've listened to Joe Dispenza, like, I mean, you know, obviously I've been listening to so many other people for so many years, you know, and like kind of learning from so many different sources, but I feel like it's like, wow, now we're at the point where we kind of like can take our like knowledge to the next level where we're literally like changing our own brains, you know, because that's kind of more of the focus of his message.
He talks about neuroscience, and he talks about all sorts of things that have to do with the physical body's reaction to stress. That's like the main thing, like that my dad really got. My dad clicked with it. You know, my dad's like 60.
And also, I mean, the other thing that he discusses is like really staying oriented in the present and the future, not tying yourself to the past moment all the time. Yeah, not like, yeah, exactly. Not letting the past define you. Or what you're going to get in the future. Because that's like a big thing, I feel like, when it comes to like actually aligning with what you want. You really have, in order to be in vibrational alignment with it. Like I heard this the other day, and I don't even remember where it was, but it was like, the universe wants you to have your dream life. The universe wants you to be able to experience the ultimate experience that you came to Earth to experience, right? But you cannot experience something in which you are not in vibrational alignment to. It's that simple. So until you can get in vibrational alignment, you're just not going to be able to get it, you know? And it's like, that's where you have to look inward and realize, am I aligned with what I want? You know? Or is my daily life actually reflective of that, of what I want and who I want to be, you know? I thought, like, I was talking to you about it, that I thought it was really powerful. One of these studies that he was talking about on one of the podcasts you sent me, a Joe Dispenza podcast, he was talking about how they did this research where they got these men, like, that were in, like, their
60s and 70s.
Yeah, they were older men. And they told them, like, for how long? I think it was, like, a week or two?
No, it was, like...
Or was it, like, a month? Or
yeah, it was, like, a few weeks.
It was an extended experiment, right? For sure. Right? Yeah, it was.
I remember that. Okay.
But they told them to, the experiment was to pretend like they were 20 years younger. Okay? That was the experiment. Pretend like you're 20 years younger. Just fully step into the role, if you will, of, you know, the version of you that is 20 years younger than you. And they found that these men were physically transformed from doing this. They were able to do things that they were not able to do before. They were much more confident in, like, you know, doing that. I mean, it was like they really did start to actually physically embody a life that was 20 years earlier, you know? And there's been other experiments, of course, to replicate the same effect, you know? It's just that you really have to completely align with who you want to be. That's the key. Who are you and what do you feel? And how do you get that?
And manage your stress levels, because that's the thing that I really realized is I'm like, every time I get into like fight or flight mode, like every time, this is what he talks about, every time you get into fight or flight mode, every time you feel super stressed, every time you just like get overwhelmed with like, with stress, anxiety, all these things, you're putting your body in this mode where it puts all of its energy towards this.
Yeah.
Towards you either running or towards you either like fighting, towards you, it reserves all of this energy in your body for this. And that's what he really breaks down. And that's the message that really got my dad, is what I was saying earlier, is that he's an older guy. My dad's stuck in his ways. It was so funny. The other day after I finished showing him this, like he let me show him how to like try to pop his back, right? And it was like so funny to see him, like be like, okay, let's go, like show me, like all like struggling, to do like some basic yoga poses and things. And I was like, okay, like I just from him watching this, just from him, just from me being here and showing him these things. I think that it's like, I can see that it's like he's breaking these like patterns that he's had for so long, where he just goes, sits in front of the TV, goes to sleep,
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like adding some, brain activity in there. I'm building some new
exactly.
pathways.
That's the key, is building the new pathways. Actually, I saw somebody, it was a TikTok. And they were talking about Joe Dispenza and how they went to a bunch of his events, because he has events where you can go and like you basically go through the process. Like, I mean, it's, you go through like the, amplification essentially of your vibration, meditating with him every day, doing all these things. Really, it's just mostly a lot of meditation. But, I mean, that's all it takes, really, But it was this person that went to multiple of these events, and she was talking about how she hadn't seen many people talk about this, but one of the things that he, like, highlighted a lot during the thing was to just think, like, when your brain is, like, doing something that you don't want it to do, just tell your brain, change, change, change. And I've started doing that, and I swear it works. Like, I feel the difference. When I think a thought, or when I'm, like, falling out of alignment, or when I'm, like, doing something that I know is not a good habit for me, or, whatever, right? When I'm getting distracted and I don't want to be distracted, whatever it is. I literally tell myself, like, change, change, change. And I swear I'm, like, able to more easily pick the path that is actually aligned and that is actually, like, the higher vibrational version of me and what I want to be thinking and where I want my pathways to be going, because that's all it is. Like, your brain is literally just different electrical patterns. And it's like, which electrical patterns are you gonna think the most frequently or experience the most frequently, including emotions, of course, too. And that's going to determine what reality you experience. But
yeah, I think I'm not perfect, and I find myself slipping all the time. Like, I find myself getting stressed, especially like I work as a teacher, so I think that I really struggle with, like, I don't know when I have to expend like a lot of energy and when I have to, like, I obviously I'm gonna get stressed if like a kid's like, in danger because they put themselves in danger, one of them's hurting the other one or whatever, like it's like this response. But I think that now at this point I've learned how to really manage it as best as I can, to where I make sure that I go outside and listen to the, just the trees and the sound of the wind, or I look at the sky, or I sit in the sun. I eat my food outside. I just try to like do something that's gonna, boost my energy, make me feel more calm, like become more zen, before I go back into that environment,
Yeah.
Because the stress levels, that's the thing. And I think that for me, obviously I think about my life and I'm like, yeah, I've had a lot of really stressful moments, and I've really stressed myself out, a lot. So I'm like, I need to stop that, Like I for the most part I'm pretty good, but it's like obviously I slip, and I'm telling you right now, I'm like, okay, no, like after listening to these podcasts, to watching these videos, I really think that Joe Dispenza really gets to people. So if you all want to look up Joe Dispenza, his name is Dr. Joe Dispenza. So it's Dispenza, and you can look him up on Spotify, on YouTube, on anything, and you can find his stuff. And truly, that guy's is a good guy.
I just feel like he talks about all of the most important key points. I feel like it's like all in one, you know? Because I feel like personally, I really appreciate when the science is connected because I think that that's so much more impactful for people to understand it and how it actually is what's happening. It's not just like, you know, I feel like people look at things like as self-help as kind of just like, oh, you know.
No, well, that's the thing that is holding so many people back.
Yeah.
Is their inability to understand that this is not just, you know, this is not just hoo-ha. This is science-backed, research-backed, government-backed type of, of thing. It's,
yeah, exactly. And I feel like it's not up for debate.
No,
this is real.
So that's really the thing that I really love about Joe Dispenza is that he makes it so that it's scientific. And then that's what I loved about Deepak Chopra also, that he has a medical background, he has all of these degrees.
That's what you notice about a lot of these people. It's just
and then they notice
educated people.
Yeah, and then they notice, oh, meditation is not just hoo-ha. You know, prayer is not just hoo-ha. Manifestation is not just hoo-ha. Having an energetic field is science. This is science.
Yeah.
Your brain, your stress, and everything affecting this, it's science.
And the way you feel.
Yes, and
because your magnetic field is literally created by your heart and your brain.
Mm-hmm. And you as a person, we as people. I think that the funniest thing that has shocked some of my students sometimes is like where I make them realize, you know, like we're, you know, a species on a planet in infinite space. And I think that alone is like, they're all like,
you told them that.
They're like, no, yeah, because I think that that's something
we're species on a planet in infinite space.
That's something that really makes you realize,
dude,
oh, you know.
There's aliens. We are in a universe.
This is science, and this is science.
This is the universe. It's amazing. Like, it's, like, better than, like, you know, the plane. They're like, nothing to see here, folks. Earth is just, it ends there.
Earth is all we got. That's all there is in this whole universe is Earth.
It's just, like, a fun game that we're playing to, like, see certain senses.
Oh, and then it's flat. But anyway.
Oh, God, no, we don't actually believe that. Okay.
No, I'm saying that that's what people believe. Like, oh, that all there is Earth and it's flat. But anyway, so my point is that you have an energetic field. The Earth has an energetic field, like a magnetic field, you know? We all have a body that we can study. They can see the responses. They can see the hormones. They can see all these things. They can see blood flow. And when you're super stressed, your body is not functioning properly.
Yeah.
When you are super stressed, you are not at your best.
It creates discomfort and inflammation, which leads to
disease.
Yeah.
And all sorts of problems for yourself and for your body and for the people around you.
Right.
And the thing is that's what Joe Dispenza talks about, and I really think that that's I think that the first time I listened to it, Marissa sent it to me maybe like 2 weeks ago, and I saw the video, and it was so funny. It's like a video podcast, and so you can listen to it without having to watch it. So I told her, I was like, girl, an hour? Really? Like, I don't know if I can do it.
It was 2 hours.
Oh, 2 hours. 2 hours.
It's a podcast. I mean, come on. Like, obviously it's going to be long.
Okay, yes. And I thought to myself, I was like, 2 hours. I don't know if I can listen to that, especially since she sent it to me while I was at work, okay? So I started it during my lunch break. I listened to about 20-25 minutes of it. And chunk by chunk by chunk, like while I was in the car, while I was, you know, whatever, I finished it. Mm-hmm. And when I finished it, I was like just nodding. I was like, wow, like, okay, you know, this guy really just taught me so much very valuable information. And he has events, you know, where you can go and you can actually do meditation workshops and stuff with him. Of course, that's how he makes his money. And then, you know, like books and things like this.
Yeah, I really want to read his book. So it's called Becoming Supernatural. I would highly recommend that you guys look into it too, because I've heard that it's so good. His book.
Becoming Supernatural. But yeah, no, the point is that there are so many free resources of his where you can basically learn every single thing that he teaches in these workshops. Because now I've listened to maybe like 4 hour long or more, content pieces
right.
that are with Joe Dispenza and interviewing him and him at an event or him speaking. I've watched this graphic video with my dad. I've just delved into this information, and every time it finishes, I'm like, it's the same information packaged in a different box, or wrapped with different wrapping paper. I don't know what would be a better analogy, but
interesting, yeah.
But it's all the same, and he has different examples for the same things, and he has this way of being able to explain something so that anyone can understand, And I don't know. Everybody, this is a Joe Dispenza advertisement.
It is, but I mean, it's just so interesting. And I mean, okay, obviously, I guess you guys just need to go listen to him for yourselves because, we can only try to spread his message so much.
Yeah, I can only say so much.
But it's very empowering, and it's, going to help you expand your consciousness and get the reality that you want. Because I think that what I've noticed is just that, there's so many people throughout the world that, they're just not aligned. They don't feel aligned. And they've gotten caught up in whatever circumstance that they've just been in for a while, or just certain headspaces or thoughts or feelings, and it just becomes that default mode. And they do experience a lot of stress and a lot of just turmoil throughout their days because they're just so attached to the physical reality, And I've seen, firsthand how people's lives can be transformed when they just allow themselves to detach from the physical a little bit and look inward at the consciousness, and at the spiritual base of it, and empower yourself to be a creator and to experience the moment differently and to literally rewire your brain and, really align with what you want, because that is what is actually controlling everything, It's like things don't have to just be super difficult and whatever.
Absolutely. I really love all of the information. The thing that Marissa's talking about is this. I think this is the last thing that I'll say about it before we wrap this baby up, is that your reaction in the moment at the time is an emotional reaction to something. Okay, this is what he talks about. It's an emotional reaction to something. So you're either laughing at something, or you think someone's entertaining, or you get irritated by someone and someone stresses you out and things like this, right? So what happens is that emotional reaction, okay, that's something that your body can regulate. That's something you can feel it, and then you can decide to let that go, and then you can move forward. Now, if you don't move forward and you hold on to this emotional reaction, that becomes your mood, okay? This becomes your mood. And over, let's say for 5 days or something, you feel like something has really impacted you, okay? And of course, it's normal. This is just science. This is just the way it is, okay? That of course it's normal for certain things to affect you longer, like grief of a loss, loss of a loved one or something like this, okay? Or maybe some really intense event, I don't know. You guys can use your imagination. The point is that your mood is days of having an emotional reaction to something and holding on to this emotional reaction. After weeks of you doing this, it becomes your temperament, okay? And that can last for a long time, right? Your temperament is just how people know how you're going to react already. They have an awareness of okay, I can't step on their toes, metaphorically, I don't know. You can't get them angry, what's going to get them angry. And then, or something, or have an emotional reaction. And then that becomes your personality after you've done that for so long. And so the whole point is that you have to go to the base. You have to look at how you're emotionally reacting on a daily basis in every moment that you're in, and keeping yourself from stressing out.
The control that you're giving to the exterior environment in certain situations
yes.
to completely dictate who you are.
Yeah,
and,
yes.
How
it's,
you engage with the world,
Yeah,
with the rest of the world.
And then he explains that one coworker, that one friend, that one family member, you're going to find a reason to feel stressed. You're going to find a reason to not feel the best because that's become your go-to. That's become your what your brain is wired to do, and how your brain is wired to feel. You know,
and it's like that's okay, but I think that it's just you really have to ask yourself. It's like don't judge yourself, right? But be actively participating in reacting from that point forward, and actually ask yourself, do I need to react in this way to this situation?
Exactly.
You know, does this really have to stress me out?
Exactly.
Does this really have to matter? I think the key is like you can respond, you can do what you need to do or whatever to interact with the circumstance, but you do not have to give it that emotional reaction that is going to put you in a lower state.
Exactly.
It's just that. Even if somebody else is giving you that energy, let them keep it. You know? That's like the worst thing that you can do is let them give you that energy. Know that your magnetic field, you can keep yourself protected. You know? It's like that goes back to like your aura or whatever in like other more spiritual terms. But it's like you really do have like this force field of energy, and so it's just important to like, you know, reflect what is given to you and not just take in everyone else's energy, one, but also, just like recognize just because little things don't go exactly as you want them to go all the time, or, you know, whatever the case may be, does not mean that you cannot break out of caring about any of that. It's just like law of detachment, you know? You have to be willing to just kind of like surrender a little bit, you know, to the moment and detach so much from like a negative identity or a negative viewpoint
and I think
on life.
I think it also just boils down to, like he also says, you know, you can eat an all organic diet. You can eat vegan, vegetarian, you know, whatever, all the diets that exist that you could do. And then you step out and you get into traffic and you start honking at people and going like, you know, driving all wild out here and, you know, trying to be, you know, in an extreme hurry, okay? And he said that that's like spending the rest of your day just eating junk food and just eating, you know, everything that you tried to avoid. It's like it's bad for your body. It's bad for your mind. It's bad for you as a person in general. It's bad for you as a being. It's bad for you as like a soul if you believe in that, you know? It's just bad in general for you to stress out so much. And I think that that's the main thing that I've gotten from it, and that I'm going to really try to apply going forward in my life from this point on, because like, there's just certain moments where I can just think to myself, man, I like how much damage did I do to my body for being that stressed or having that much like, you know, adrenaline going through my body of being so angry or mad or, you know, stressed in general.
Frustrated, disappointed.
Yes.
Angry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I hope you all find this useful, and I hope you all go and look up Joe Dispenza.
Yes, highly recommend. If this was not enough to convince you,
on any platform,
don't know what else it would be.
Yeah, and you can find free stuff everywhere.
Highly recommend. At least give it a chance. Give it a chance. You're gonna like it, and you're gonna see what we're talking about with all of this, you know, and you're gonna feel empowered.
Exactly.
And you know what? If this gets one person to start meditating, you know, like that is a win, because seriously, this is the thing about it all. I think this is a good closing message as well, is that you are not only helping yourself, you are also helping the whole collective by actually raising your consciousness and being more aware and aligned with, like, you know, the earth and yourself and everyone around you, because at the end of the day, it is all energy and it is all connected, and we are all parts of consciousness, right? It's like, again, like you're a drop in the ocean and you're the whole ocean, you know? And so, you know, it's like, I think it really does help raise the whole vibration of the earth, but also it's just like, it gives you a different perspective on other people, and it's like, you know, the other is myself in disguise, and you're able to not even, you know, feel as triggered by other people anymore, because you're just like, you're in your consciousness and you're frustrated, and that's like upsetting. I hope you feel better, you know? or you are intentionally like projecting something, and like that's okay, you know. But I'm gonna stay in my good vibration. You don't gotta take on what other people are putting out, you know, in the environment. And I think that is what's truly gonna transform the world, you know, over time.
Yeah, it's happening already.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fact that I even meditate, it's like, what? You know, I'm from two different cultures that don't meditate, you know. They have, we you know, it's just, it is what it is. You know, we have prayer, we have Catholicism, we have what I mentioned earlier, you know, but we don't, meditation was something I had not thought about or even known about until I was like 19.
I mean, of course, because, you know, colonization. These beliefs were suppressed because, like, yeah, the indigenous Americans were definitely on this,
Yeah,
you know,
they were on some spiritual
and the indigenous
vibes.
people everywhere were.
Well,
But
still
of course,
are.
yeah, exactly.
They still are.
Exactly, but of course, like, you know, it was highly suppressed for a long time, and really people were pushed out of tapping into their consciousness because it was literally made illegal, or you know, you were tortured or killed or whatever.
Yeah, my grandpa, he thought I was evil when I was meditating one time, and I thought that was so funny. I was like, wow, this guy, you know, his like parents were these little indigenous people from Zacatecas, Mexico, and he
I know.
And he was missionized, colonized, and then now he thinks when he sees someone meditating that it's like that is out of the realm of what is possible for me. So yeah, no, but it's crazy. I think that if there's one message that you guys are going to get from this, it's that this is real. That even if you struggle with meditation, even if you say like, oh, I cannot meditate, or I don't really like listening to guided meditations, or I've heard a lot of different things over the years when I suggest meditation, and whatever it is, you just have to understand that, you know, even if it's taking a bath or going on a walk or taking a cold shower or just whatever is going to...
And sometimes change is uncomfortable. So even if it's a little uncomfortable at first and it takes you time to settle down, and at first you feel a little anxious or you have trouble just like sitting there and being one with yourself, it's going to get easier every single time you do it.
Yeah, and
be consistent for at least a week. Just try it. Try it. You're going to be glad you did it. 100%. You know, it's just like, I don't know. It doesn't have to. Transformation is not always easy.
Be conscious of the stuff that you're putting in your brain. Be conscious of like the stuff that makes you stressed. You know, be conscious of the things that you know do to keep yourself relaxed, and then include like a meditation every so often. You're doing work that, you know, a lot of people are not doing, and the thing is that you're gonna notice the differences, you know, because I feel like for me, you know, like I definitely have noticed the differences. So yeah, with that said, I think that we're gonna finish this off and say to have a beautiful day, evening, night.
Go and meditate.
Yes,
Go
please.
And meditate. Go
listen to Joe Dispenza.
You know,
listen to Joe
Dispenza for sure,
and then meditate. And then you can do whatever. Follow the path. Just watch where the YouTube algorithm guides you.
There you go.
Alrighty.
Shout out YouTube algorithm.
Alright, guys.
Help us out.
Have a beautiful night, evening, day, whatever. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so
Andy,
much. And Marty.
The podcast.
The podcast.
Bye.
Bye.